We go now to Naples, Florida, and former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, who has a new documentary airing on PBS, Coming to America. It examines how 9 remarkable American immigrants have shaped our country's history. Welcome to Face the Nation.
Good to be with you.
In this documentary, you tell the stories of these individuals who immigrated to the U.S. and they were very accessible, people like Albert Einstein. You know, when you look at Einstein and you look at Henry Kissinger, they were refugees to this country. Donald Trump set refugee admissions at very low levels first term. He's talking about blocking refugee admissions this term. Is that a mistake?
Well, I think we're going through a period of, frankly, reacting to an extraordinarily disastrous immigration policy. So you're going to have some twists and turns. In the long run, we do want to have an ability to allow legitimate refugees to come here. We also, and part of the reason Clist and I made this documentary for PBS, is we really believe strongly that illegal immigrants are a major contribution to America's success and to its exceptional nature. And we want to make sure that, you know, as many Americans favor legal immigration as opposed to illegal immigration. It's very important to distinguish the two, and we want to strongly communicate that legal immigration in a variety of forms, refugees is one, another is various work permits, but we want people to be able to come to America if they do so legally.
You said immigrants inhabit the very soul of what it is to be an American. When you say legitimate refugees, what do you mean?
Well, I think people can stand up and say, I've now decided I'm a refugee, I feel threatened. The question is that true or not? Are they really threatened?
Claim
or in
asylum,
fact, is
you
that
mean?
just their way of getting into the United States? To claim asylum. I think there's a big difference between somebody who genuinely faces a potential loss of life or freedom and somebody who simply wants to come to America and decides to claim that status.
Economic migrants there. Let me ask you, someone else you feature in here, Zalmay Khalilzad, very prominent Afghan American who brokered Trump's deal with the Taliban to exit Afghanistan. As you know, with that chaotic exit, there were tens of thousands of Afghans scattered, some of them still separated from their families. Many of them worked for the U.S. government. Should Mr. Trump extend the legal process of this program and bring those Afghans here? And would you ask Congress to raise the current cap they have on the number of them coming?
Yeah, I think the Afghan refugees who actively fought on the side of Americans, saved American lives, tried to help win against the Taliban, I think they deserve an unusual level of support and treatment. And I worked all during the period of President Biden's insanely disastrous withdrawal. I tried to work with various people and did podcasts with people who were trying to get folks out of Afghanistan who should legitimately have been helped by the U.S. government. So, you know, when somebody's totally your ally, and this happened with the Vietnamese and the Vietnamese War, when somebody's totally your ally and they risk their lives side by side with you, you shouldn't abandon them. I mean, that's a pretty straightforward rule.
Well, one of the things the Biden administration blamed the Trump administration for was the difficulty in making those fast arrangements to bring those Afghans here. And that's a story for another day. But the person they put their finger on as making it more difficult is Stephen Miller, who is now the top policy advisor to Mr. Trump. He did add new requirements to visas, other things that made it harder to legally come here. Have you spoken to him about some of your concerns?
No, I know Stephen very well. Look, so Stephen was responding to a disastrous level of immigration that's not sustainable. And I think virtually every American agrees you can't have an open border. You can't have Venezuelan gangs, for example, or El Salvadorian gangs. I mean, there are a lot of good reasons, and you're going to get some overreaction, but it's an overreaction, frankly, caused by people like President Biden, who were totally irresponsible in allowing people into this country by the millions in a way that was totally illegal. I mean, it was outside the law.
Okay, pardon me, I don't know if our viewers heard that there was an alarm that went off here, so it interrupted some of what you said there. Donald Trump has chosen your wife, Callista, who helped make this documentary with you, to be the next ambassador to Switzerland. Are you advising the president-elect in any capacity right now?
Well, I chat with him, and I certainly chat with members of the team. I've had a long experience as a Republican activist.
Okay.
And on some things like getting through the tax cut bill, I work with everybody in the House, Senate, and the White House.
Thank you, former Speaker, I should say. Thank you for your time.